MVP talks, top 10 discussions. You know how this goes. You gather around some of your buddies, your co-workers, your classmates, and you spit some of the worst basketball knowledge known to man. We don't even have debates anymore. It's honestly just a glaze festival. One guy just caping that one of his favorite players, either a top 10 player, the best player in his position, the MVP, the greatest player of all time. Like, bro, nobody actually takes anything away in a debate.
Take me out. It's my turn. It is. You told me it was my turn.
You can talk all that you want to, yell and scream. You lost.
It is my turn.
You lost the game.
It's my turn.
However, you know, I was scrolling through the internet and I did stumble across a research paper, and for the first time in I don't know how long, I actually read more than 2 sentences. Anyways, to summarize, I found something that pretty much puts everything together, giving a rating, a score, whatever you want to call it. It looks into your stats, your advanced stats. It even looks at the eye test somehow. It looks at injuries, so your potential as well if you missed games. And it pretty much takes in everything you've done in the season and gives you a rating on that. It's called the superficial measurement dynamic, whatever that means. Hey man, all I know is this should end all debates. It just gives you a number based on everything a player does. And honestly, I'm just going to share with you guys the top 10 players in the league right now according to this metric. And obviously, since all these scores come from this season, it should be a good indication on how the MVP ladder should look like. Let's not waste any more time. Starting off, we got Anthony Edwards with a score of 91.97. This makes a lot of sense considering he might be the best young player in the league right now. He's got the Minnesota Timberwolves in a decent spot. I mean, they're pretty good. They're not great, but they're not bad either. Maybe his score would be higher if he didn't have a teammate like Julius Randle dragging him down. But regardless, he's on this top 10 list. Next up, we got Luka Doncic with a score of 92.84. This also makes sense. I mean, how can you be considered a top 5 player if your team is willing to trade you away? But in all seriousness, he came into season out of shape and he was injured for most of the season. But let's be honest here, Luka at 270 or Luka at 217, it really doesn't make much of a difference, man. Luka is still Luka. Next up, we got Kevin Durant with a score of 93.29. The rawest score the sport has ever seen. I mean, let's be honest here, when he puts the ball up to his dome, who's really going to stop that shot? Nobody. Only downside this guy has is the fact that he's not a leader. Every team he's went to hasn't done anything since he played second fiddle to Steph Curry. Next up, we got Jason Tatum with a score of 93.61. It should be Jaylen Brown on this list instead of Jason Tatum, if we're being completely honest. In my opinion, this guy's not even a top 20 player, but this list isn't based on my personal opinion. It's based on the scoring system, and with the system, they got him ranked over here at like number 7. Next up, we got Chef Curry with a score of 95.85. Not really much I gotta say about this guy. He's done everything, he does everything. I mean, he could be higher. I guess he's aging. Obviously, you expect him not to be the best player in the game no more. But overall, just a pretty solid rating. Next up, we got Giannis Antetokounmpo with a score of 97.06. The go-to third MVP spot for the last couple of years. And he's going to do that again. He's once again going to miss out on the MVP. I guess the inability to shoot beyond the paint really hinders the overall rating here. And just in front of him, we got Nikola Jokic with a score of 97.41. Probably the most complete offensive weapon we've ever seen. Unfortunately, he is a little fat. That's really the only downside I could say. He's kind of slow too, and he's just gonna miss out on the MVP. And just above him is none other than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with a score of 97.42. My guy really had to use all of his aura to squeeze out that last 0.01. A certified free throw merchant, but the scoring system says, amen, whatever gets the job done, it's all good. Josh Hart, score 98.64. And topping up this list is none other than LeBron Raymond James with a score of 100.32. He actually transcended what is supposed to be the max rating of 100. He's not only the best player in the league this season, but he's the best player of all time. I could have made this a top 10 players of all time list instead, and it would have looked the exact same. In all honesty, I could have just told you this flat out. I didn't really need a scoring system to tell me this, but some of you guys are kind of slow, and hopefully this helps. Once again, this is not my opinion. This is all based on the scoring system of the superficial measurement dynamic. In other words, if you disagree with anything, SMD.